A very good evening to Madam Jurida and my fellow classmates. Today I'll be presenting the poem entitled Elm by Sylvia Plath. First of all, elm is actually a tree which changes throughout various seasons. As you can see in this picture on the left-hand side, it shows how it looks during summer, whereas on the right-hand side, it shows how it looks during winter. Okay, so before we look at the poem, let's look at the poet's biography. Okay, Sylvia Plath was born in 1932 and she died in 1963, around age of 30. She's an American poet and author. Um, she attempted suicide for the first time by taking sleeping pills. Along with that, she was diagnosed with clinical depression and recovered from it after receiving treatments in psychiatric hospital for 6 months. In 1956, she married Ted Hughes. He's a British poet, and they were blessed with 2 children. Unfortunately, they were separated in 1962 as her husband cheated on her by having an affair with another woman. So Sylvia Plath moved out with her children. So since then, she fell into a deep depression and she was struggled with mental sufferings, mental illness. And then in 1963, she committed suicide. So this is the poet's biography. So before we look at each stanza, I would like to summarize the whole poem. So this poem consists of 14 stanzas and each stanza consists of 3 lines. So elm, as I mentioned earlier, elm is actually a tree. So this poem portrays the persona's sufferings, fears, pains, and more due to the loss of her love, and also maybe due to something really bad happened in her life. In this poem, it's like the tree and the persona having a conversation about their feelings and sufferings. It also shows like how the tree's physical appearance changed throughout various seasons during winter and summer, which can be seen in the poem later. Similarly, the persona's emotion also changes throughout the poem. So basically, this poem shows the physical sufferings of the tree due to the changes of weather, and also the persona's emotional suffering due to the bitter life experiences, or maybe due to the loss of her love. So the poem begins with the tree saying, "I know the bottom," she says, "I know it with my great taproot. It is what you fear." And the persona replied, "I do not fear it, I've been there." So here, my great taproot shows something very deep of the very bottom of the tree. So which symbolize that the persona has already reached very bottom of level of a depression. So that's why she's not scared of it anymore, as she is already in that situation, in that level. So the poem continues with the tree asking questions to the persona. Is it the sea you hear in me, its dissatisfactions, or the voice of nothing that was your madness? So the tree questioned the persona whether she can hear the sound of sea or the voice of nothing. She also questions the persona whether she hears the voice of her own dissatisfactions or madness. Stanza 3 and 4. Love is a shadow, how you lie and cry after it. Listen, these are its hoofs, it has gone off like a horse. All night I shall gallop thus impetuously, till your head is a stone, your pillow a little turf, echoing, echoing. So in these 2 stanzas, the persona compares love with shadow. As we all know, shadow is a dark reflection which is not real and cannot be touched. And she also compares love with a horse, where it just the mark left by its hoofs. Likewise, love also left some scars or pains to someone. The persona also mentioned that the pains, the sufferings, all the bitter, the memories, all the bitter experiences will keep on reminding her until she dies. From stanza 5 to 8, it shows the tree's physical sufferings caused by moon, wind, rain, and sun. In stanza 5, or shall I bring you the sound of poisons? This is rain now, this big hush, and this is the fruit of it, thin white like arsenic. Arsenic is a type of poison which is very dangerous, and it uh, kills almost instantly. So in this stanza, the tree was lashed by acid rain and kills the fruit. This is also can be related to the persona, like how the bitter experiences burns inside, killing her like arsenic, like slow poison. Stanza 6, I have suffered the atrocity of sunsets, scorched to the root, my red filaments burn and stand a hand of wires. Here the tree was burnt by sun. It also can be related to the persona, like how the memories burnt her life. Stanza 7, now I break up in pieces that flying about like clubs. A wind of such violence will tolerate no bystanding. I must shriek. Okay, in this stanza, the tree was attacked by wind, which break the tree into pieces. And then the tree complaint mentioned that it couldn't tolerate it more and it must scream. So similarly, the persona also broke down as she cannot take the pain anymore. She feel like screaming. Stanza 8, the moon also is merciless. She would drag me cruelly being barren. Her radiance scatters me, or perhaps I have caught her. Okay, here the tree was attacked by the moon and it is unable to produce fruit. Okay, moon is related to something beautiful, peaceful, and more, but here it is regarded as merciless. So, what is the person is trying to say here is that the all the beautiful things that was seen that she used to enjoy before is now makes her mad. So, stanza 9 to 11. I let her go, diminished and flat as after radical surgery. How your bad dreams possess and endow me, I'm inhabited by a cry. Nightly it flaps out, looking with its hooks for something to love. I'm terrified by this dark thing that sleeps in me. All day I feel its soft, feathery turnings, its malignity. So in these three stanzas, it showed the persona's fear. She was continuously having bad dreams which she couldn't control. She keeps everything inside, which pops out as tears at night, where she cries herself to sleep. She's also having extreme fear, where and depressed about the bad incidents, memories, or pains that will affect her negatively. Stanza 12, clouds pass and disperse. Are those the faces of love, those pale irretrievables? Is it for such I date my heart? The clouds pass and disperse showed that times pass by. Here the person asked herself whether she will get back her love that once she received. The persona is also troubling herself for the love that cannot be returned to how it were before. Stanza 13, I'm incapable of more knowledge. What is this face so murderous in its strangle of branches? Okay, in here, the persona deals with more mental sufferings as she cannot think of anything around her. And lastly, its snaky acid hiss. It petrifies the wheel. These are the isolate slow falls that kill, that kill, that kill. Its snaky acid hiss is resembles a type of poisonous snake. For me, this poem ends with something symbolizes death, especially the last line that kill, that kill, that kill. Here, the persona actually realizes that the depression, the emotion changes, the pains or sufferings that she was experiencing will gradually affect her, and this could literally destroy or kill her. So overall, it was a good poem as I could connect to the poem, like I could imagine and understand the feelings, sufferings of both the persona and the tree. However, what I found it difficult to comprehend this poem is the two voices involved in this poem, like the elm tree and the persona. It's like confusing for me whether the elm tree is speaking or the persona is speaking when they share their feelings and sufferings. To be honest, there were some lines where I found quite complex and confusing, and I couldn't comprehend it well. So here are the four themes I found in this poem: love, depression, inner struggle, and nature. And then here are the few imageries. Elm tree, C, which represents the uh, depressions or the inner struggle of the persona. And then the horse, clouds, snake, where it's snaky acid hiss, which symbolizes a type of poisonous snake. So overall, for me, it was really a sad poem for both the persona and the tree, where like how they suffers physically and emotionally. So that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, Nisha, I okay. One way of um, uh, looking at clues, yeah, to actually look at the title, and then elm tree. It's a foreign. I mean, we don't get elm tree here in in this region, and also it is not associated with any ideas and all that, because elm trees is actually in Western literature. It is used as symbolism. And when we talk about tree, not just elm, but any tree, yeah, it supposedly symbolizes growth, um, uh, happiness. Like because the color of tree is green. Health. But elm tree, it's also associated with positive ideas, like victory, accomplishment. So looking at the title itself, we sort of think that this is a poem about positive things, about victory, maybe conquering the love or conquering self, that kind of thing. So here, in a way, the title itself is opposite of the content. So instead of providing life, providing strength, the elm tree is opposite. It represents the death of the persona. So the persona is, because you kind of look at the persona is talking about herself and then distancing herself, and looking at M3 as representing what she experienced. Yeah, so that's why you kind of, like you said, you're not sure whether it's the persona or the persona talking to the elm tree. So this is in a way very much like internal conversation. Like you have conversation with yourself. But if if you look at the structure itself, you have the set. Yeah, it's written into set, and usually the number three, it's always indicating the birth, and then the life, and then death. Yeah, so you can actually in a way um, look at instead of the birth of love, here she is sharing with us and lamenting about the death of her love. Yeah. And if we read more about Plath, yeah, because Plath was actually she was from the States, and then she went to Cambridge or Harvard. Uh, oh, Oxford. Sorry, she went to Oxford to continue with her postgraduate, I think, and that's when she met, and that's where she met her husband Howard Hughes. And Howard Hughes is, like if you look at some of the professors or lecturers in at the university, students, female students usually would look up to, and I'm not really sure in Malaysia, but in the States or in UK, if you are a professor, you would have a lot of postgraduate students, and they usually would have a lot of this meeting with the postgraduate students. They would, their relationship is different in Malaysia. It's like sometimes it's very difficult to see your supervisor, but in the States and UK, you always have like um, um, a weekend, or on Friday, you would meet and drink, and you have dinner and that kind of thing. Yeah, you would always be meeting and socializing with your professor. Even in the States, yeah, you would have like, you go for a cup of coffee and that kind of thing, which is very rarely in Malaysia. Usually, the supervisor would kind of like, okay, okay, you just come and we'll talk about your thesis, and that's it, and bye bye. So it's very different in the States and in the UK. So Howard Hughes, if you've seen his picture, is really a good looking guy. Yeah, and he is not a I mean, he is very popular with ladies, and he took advantage of that. Yeah? So he has quite a number of relationships. Yeah, and Sylvia Plath herself, she has issues. Yeah, she has issues, and she has a mental health problem. In actual fact, in the beginning, and then to be married to Howard Hughes, and the kind of person he is, that really drove her to the edge. Yeah, and when you read her poem, it's you kind of say, poor woman. Yeah, I wish she didn't meet Howard Hughes. Um, so, and if you have read her death, it's very dramatic, because she's a very dramatic person. Yeah, she put, I think we've talked about this before. She put her head into the oven. That's how she actually ended her life. Yeah, so it's very dramatic, and I've never heard of anyone ending their life by putting their head into the oven and inhaling the gas. Yeah. So in Elm Tree, you basically read about the imageries, about how it's not the death of her love, but it is also the death of herself. Yeah, because mm, um, I guess in a way she thinks that the love that she get from Howard Hughes, it Ted Hughes, sorry, from Ted Hughes, that would bring her happiness and all that, but it's the other way around. Yeah, so it's actually very very sad. And if you have difficulty with the imageries and all that, I have mentioned that with Sylvia Plath, her imageries are really it is not run of the mill kind of thing, so you need to read and maybe have conversations. Yeah, so I've actually put the poem um, hope is the thing with feather. And I think I will do so with some of the poems that I feel that we need a longer discussion, yeah, because of the complex imageries and all that. Because to actually, be talking in the class, it will, it can actually take the whole hour, yeah. So, um, Elm is one of the poem that I'm going to put on the blog spot for us to have more conversation. Yeah, and maybe some of us, there are 30 of us here, will have different views towards it, and by having this conversation, I feel that it will enhance our comprehension of the poem. Yeah. Okay. So thank you, Nisha.